okay, it'll come on. Is it switched up?
bonjour, Denmark. J'ai bien de ok ni match tamen mi no. Igen na gamon and then you. We match tamen so. So we're asking everybody to come and join us back in. We're going to have our singers render us a song, carry on with our afternoon, finish up your desserts. If you're on your second one, and we'll carry on this afternoon right after the song is rendered. Oh. Hoa, Miguel, Sean and the boys. Okay, Miguel. Miigwech, Sean, for bringing us back in. One quick advisement. I've been asked by several chiefs to encourage everyone to stay within their time limits of their presentations. And they said if we can be out of here by 4:30, the co-chair and I will be in for a cash reward. So please keep your time slots in mind as you make your presentation. First group I'd like to call upon is Gagikito Ikoiwag, Women's Council. Pam, you want to come up or you want to do it from there? Okay, can we get a mic? Oh, Keen.
Oh, hey. Abuju, nawe kamagok digo, zungate shikan digo, etik tu tem, nang shing nandonji. I just want to acknowledge the sacred items. First of all, the tobacco, the water, and the berries. And the children that came this morning to open the meeting, I think they brought really great energy to it. So, and I want to acknowledge the drums, the staffs, the pipes, and the prayers. So for me, I'm going to be doing an update on some of the activities that we participated in. So the Elders Forum in Dryden, that was on June the 4th and the 5th. We attended the Elders Forum with participants from across Treaty 3. The topics included education, jobs, training, community engagement, and discussion also focused on an initiative led by Shunya Wabitung, which I won't be doing any reporting.
Be closer.
Hello, okay.
Hold it closer.
Okay, ceremony and feast. We went to Wabigoon on June the 6th, and I participated as a Shunya Wabitung board member. And the purpose was to formally reestablish the working relationship between Shunya and Wabigoon First Nation. It was a very nice event. On July the 1st, I was able to attend a women's gathering in Saging at the Turtle Lodge. A lot of the elders there shared teachings with women in attendance. The highlights included ceremony and feast, medicine teachings, and a presentation by Kathy Jack on her wellness model. A reflection from this is what I envision is a Treaty 3 women's gathering in 2026 at a sacred site, hopefully maybe at Manitou Mounds or Athabasca Park. On July the 17th, I attended another board meeting and we reviewed organizational priorities. And on September the 5th and 6th in Thunder Bay, I attended the Women's Council Strategic Planning, which also included the Men's Council. It was a joint session with the Men's Council. We discussed roles, mandates, and challenges, solutions proposed to strengthen connections with community and Grand Council Treaty 3. And just a quick note, I wanted to say that my son completed his treatment, Wabeginu. He's doing really well. And I think that some of that was talked about this morning with the youth. We need to support them more. Miigwech.
Can we continue on with that mic, please?
Bonjour. Shokiang Ketokenigo, Makwen Dodem, Wabagoni, Zagagon, Nishnabek, and Doji. I'm just here for a closing reflection from the Women's Council. As a representative for the Eastern Direction, my ongoing work commitments limited attendance at many events earlier in the year. However, the Thunder Bay strategic planning in September last month, earlier this month, offered a renewed sense of hope and change. Recurring issues of the past 2 years remain unresolved, particularly around funding, communication, and council recognition. While talk has been ongoing, there is now urgency for action. I am grateful for the support of our coordinator, Karen Foster, whose advocacy helps ensure the Women's Council's concerns are heard. Moving forward, the focus must remain on implementing solutions, building accountability, and strengthening the Women's Council's role within Grand Council Treaty 3 governance. Miigwech.
Okay, so you have the update, you have the presentation. Any questions from the table? And from the National Assembly participants? Okay, I see none. We're carrying on with the Men's Council. Nathaniel and Daryl, you're on the air.
Buju Saga Deosh Indigo, Bijundu Dem, Nagachanang and Donji. My report today is a little more in depth on the recent strategic planning session we had on September 6th and 7th. And the purpose of this was to, the session was guided by the overall purpose to protect our people, to uphold inherent rights and jurisdiction, to advance nation building, to strengthen traditional governance. In the background, the four-directional governance model was created in 2019 to provide guidance and insight from Anishinaabe women's and men's perspectives. Both councils serve as advisory bodies of the Assembly. Okay, where was I? Both councils serve as advisory bodies of the Assembly and provide recommendations grounded in traditional values and practices. The values of the men's and women's councils that were identified as the grounded in Anishinaabe principles, teachings, and traditions. These values guide decision-making, strengthen governance, ensure that council's responsibilities are carried out in a way that reflects the spirit and intent of nationhood. The following values were identified as central to the council's work: integrity, upholding honesty, transparency, and trust in all actions and decisions. We had wisdom, compassion, forgiveness, clan systems, history, culture, and traditions, and collaboration, working together across all councils, communities, and leadership. Some of the challenges that were identified, and it seems to be a common theme here with the councils that spoke before us, is the communication gaps that are, limited communication between leadership, technicians, and the councils has resulted in miscommunication and uncertainty regarding roles, expectations, and outcomes. One of the topics was the funding limitations. There's no dedicated funding has been identified to support council operations, gatherings, or capacity development, which restricts the council's ability to fulfill their mandates. Also, as the Men's Council, we have open vacancies in the north and east direction. So we are also in the same boat as some of the other councils. The emotional and mental burden, the nature of the work carries significant emotional weight as members are responsible for addressing sensitive issues impacting communities. This creates an added mental load that affects wellness and sustainability of participation. Some of the solutions that were discussed are develop a proxy system and standardize council reporting templates. So essentially, we'd like to develop and create some templates so we can have a better reporting system as we go forth. We'd like to strengthen the collaboration between men's and women's councils, as well as with all councils through joint gatherings and knowledge sharing, I believe on a quarterly basis. And we, continue to use traditional ceremonies to seek that guidance on the selection process for filling any vacancies. For the women's on this one, it says revive the Nokomis Circle and increase women's council's involvement in Abanuchi and Okanagan. One of the other things discussed was establish stronger relationships with communities to enhance visibility and engagement. And that's one of the things that we had discussed was, it's very, I don't want to say sad, but it's very, it's not a good feeling, being on a council and not having any funding to go into these communities, to show ourselves, to do some of the work and with the ideas that we have. It is very challenging in that sense. And, that feeling that comes with, standing here and not being able to provide a full report, because that is one of our main barriers, is not having the proper funding. But I find that, since our Director of Social, Karen and her admin, they're doing really great work and, keeping us up to date on future things coming up. So we're always, starting to get busier. So I feel like for us, at one point with, I believe it was just Daryl at one point, that smoldering fire, those embers, and I feel now that, there's hope again that we can reignite that fire within all these councils and work together. So, and I want to say miigwech to all the chiefs that had spoke before us and discussed and shared, their recommendations on supporting these councils. Because, how can we move forward in a good way and help in these communities? And, we all unique and have our own skill sets where, we are put here for a reason. We would like to be out in those communities and have, better updates, better reports when this time comes. One last thing is the priorities, the council gatherings and collaboration, quarterly meetings for information sharing and mutual support, encourage collaboration with other governance structures, the council roles and development, training in conflict resolution and council roles and responsibilities, clarify and update the terms of reference, and the vision for 2026 is greater visibility and engagement with communities and leadership, dedicated funding and a coordinator to support all councils, a full and active council membership, purposeful, impactful work with comprehensive reports presented at spring and fall assemblies. And there's a note here that says elders guidance, and the quote is, "Our life ways are so important. What is said is paramount to the nationhood." And just to keep this brief, we're asking for any and all support so we can be utilized for the greater good of this nation. As I believe that we're all put here for a reason, so I'm asking, what do you guys need in the communities? Where can we go with this? Where can we take this? We're here, we're still moving forward, and We appreciate all recommendations and support going forward. So, hopefully there's a solution or some discussion around coming up with those ways that we can move forward. So I just want to close with that. I say miigwech to everyone for giving us the time and opportunity. Miigwech.
Miigwech, Nathaniel, Daryl.
Bonjour. New Gabonish Nikas, the chicken do tem, show like forward in the Georgia Bigas. We in Gami Gochatago, so again in Oema. We get Makanic Magaya, what comes into Mats and now get Magan Schnabega. Can I not to be at the Benunji, so now get the way gonna Kapaganic Magaya. Can you go bangi mani tishandan oe kagi patna kamagizian magi babayang get a kiminan I may go give about then the answer now getting oe and if you go with so kagi and getting ogajanta migoan oe getting Kini mani gonna get kajimini goizian ashgana make it what can I get pepkangajimami goism where chisui sukotating Kanganing igung a kendazin and get the magas getting an aperture it's what gonna getting as a can among the way Kajik always answer on again in a Kendrick Migia. Mr. Again in Minik Mayan Quay, Squanish Nabem one or where Scotty Squire Sega E. Katashinjiga take my E nation hoodgeek at me again in Jikitan, Ashvanaj, America, on the Matijin Damin or and Kichi Bazagwing, even or between at programs, Katashin Jigat Dagan. Charge was a going, or Yanishnabe, Yanishnabe, Sagonaga, Chumskoiga boing, or again, and Chimanaga boing, Sagonaga again, and got Nibiga about the Sigoing Manigan, Magashimnika, got the Sigoing Sagonage, Magamaga, Nibigo, Cabinigo Benigoing, got me up in the Mago, and got me a Mutamigoing Sagonaga. So, with that, I just want to make a report to the Grand Council National Assembly. As a Men's Council representative, I am honored to provide this report on my recent activities and contributions in our service to our people in neighboring communities. My work has focused on addressing urgent social issues, strengthening our collective response to crisis, and upholding the values and leadership, compassion, and accountability on behalf of the Grand Council. Ambassador role in the community support. In my capacity as an ambassador, I assisted neighboring communities in responding to the ongoing drug epidemic. This work involved building stronger relationships across our territories, sharing knowledge and lived experiences, and offering support to those in the front lines of this crisis. My goal has been to promote healing, awareness, and a collaborative action to protect our families, youth, and communities. Humanitarian services during the Manitoba wildfires. I wasn't here at the National Assembly because I was busy assisting communities across the border from us. During the largest wildfires in Manitoba, we provided humanitarian support to evacuees displaced by the disaster. This including assisting with immediate relief efforts, ensuring that basic needs such as food, shelter, and emotional supports were met, and standing in solidarity with those enduring immense hardship. These efforts reflects our council's responsibility to be present during emergencies and provide guidance rooted in all care for all people. Engagement with the Grand Council. Drug Task Force meetings. I actively participated in the Grand Council Drug Task Force, contributing insights on addiction, recovery, and community-based solutions. Directors meetings and social chiefs meetings. I attended both the directors meeting and the social chiefs meeting to ensure that the voice of the Men's Council was represented in the strategic decision-making and policy discussions. Speaking and public speaking and advocacy. At the Empowered to Recover gathering, I shared my personal road to recovery as part of my advocacy for wellness and resilience. My message highlighted the importance of courage, support systems, and cultural strength in overcoming addiction. This engagement further strengthened awareness of the Men's Council's role in leading by example and offering hope. Advancing national dialogue on a drug epidemic. As you are aware, I previously addressed a drug epidemic issue by proxy at the last assembly. Throughout my work, I have consistently advocated and lobbied chiefs for a national discussion on this pressing and urgent issue. These efforts have borne fruit as a resolution was successfully brought forward at the AFN Assembly to formally address this matter at the national level. This marks a significant step forward in elevating our collective voice and influence. Future plans and recommendations. Filling vacancies on the Men's Council with proper resources. We plan to initiate a fair and transparent selection process to fill the 2 current vacancies on the Men's Council, strengthening our leadership capacity. The next gathering to focus on the drug epidemic. Following the success of our family violence gathering held in Wajashka Nigam Nation, our next gathering will focus specifically on the drug epidemic. This will allow us to create space for dialogue, share strategies, and build a united approach to combat this crisis. Ongoing advocacy. Building on a recent momentum at the AFN Assembly, we will continue to ensure that the drug epidemic remains at the forefront of regional and national discussions, while also advancing community-driven solutions rooted in our traditions and values. Partnerships with SCO. I have been invited by the Southern Chiefs organizations to attend the First Nations Safety Officer program. In this role, I will share traditional peacekeeping knowledge from an Indigenous lens, supporting the officer's professional and cultural development. This collaboration will strengthen community safety through integration of traditional and contemporary practices. Also, there's also talk on the traditional governance. I requested a record of decision at an assembly held in the Big Grassy or Big Island, I don't know, about over 10, almost 15 years ago. I believe my brother Erwin Red Sky was the chief at the time. And there was a record of decision on the topic of traditional governance. At that time, we were talking about nationhood compared to traditional governance and the traditional and the style of governance we have now. So I was asking for this record of decision because on the traditional side of the governance, that was the first traditional role that was written on that side on the traditional governance was the men's roles and responsibilities. So get your talk, yeah, as a warrior society. So that is one of the things that I think which is going to be key for the Men's Council if we're going to start developing our own laws, to build our own strengths, to protect our communities. We need to have that kind of support, and I think that will derive from locating that record of decision because it was made at an assembly as this. So I have been seeking that record of decision for the past several years. I haven't gotten anywhere, but I think this time, I think we're going to get somewhere with that, and I think hopefully that it will be found, and so we can move forward as a nation in terms of when we're talking as men, as protectors of our communities. We need to have that mandate recognized. So in conclusion, through these activities, I have sought to fulfill responsibilities entrusted to me by the Grand Council by addressing the drug epidemic, supporting evacuees during natural disasters, contributing to council discussions, and sharing my recovery journey. I remain committed to serving our people with integrity and dedication. Looking forward, the Men's Council will continue to grow, strengthen, and respond to the challenges that face our communities with resilience and unity. Kaya men kami gizyan sa ganaw genin keshi genin bagi gaji kenda man chiju wiso ko gani chana shnabe iya gib mi shgat ka tut ki no shkon daga nes gab me ayat mi chatu igen ke gishki oizing we kitijin da man nation kina ma nishnabe gani ke gishki oizing we katijin da man sa ganaw genin we mi chama sheki drugs gajin kat tegen minik we alcohol gani go ben going mizia just to go kina ya chiju wiso ko tating what we have in our communities. And one of the things I was going to suggest to the chiefs in attendance today is I know I know just based on my travels and the people that I know in our communities, we do have men of strength. We do have men with big hearts. As Ogichita means, Ogichia means big. Ote means heart. That is where Ogichita comes from. Ogichiote, based on my teachings. Every community has men like this in your community. And based on what my teachings have been, Ogichita means you have to have a heart big enough to love the people, the land, and your rights. And I know we have these men in all our communities. So I would ask our leadership to look around in your communities and recognize and acknowledge these men to step forward, to step up, and so that we could all stand together as a nation to confront the things that are coming to our territories, not only just drugs and alcohol, but I mean our land is being taken, our rights are being taken, and we need mechanisms of, to fight back and stand strong with each other, shoulder to shoulder, to support the chiefs as men. We're not political leaders, but I mean we stand here in support of our nation, we stand here in support of our chiefs, we stand here in support of our women, our elders, and our youth. And we will do whatever it takes to advance our causes and protect our people, our rights, and our lands. Miigwech.
Ahal miigwech. Nathaniel and Daryl, any questions, any comments? Yes. Chief Cummingan's mic, please. Any go pakteun? Ah, not here.
Bonjour. Pawade jiguk tijitikas. Tikto tep. Kazagate gabag doji. Chief Cummingan from Northwest Angle 33 First Nation. I come from the Caribou clan. I just wanted to ask the Men's Council what they are doing about men that go missing. Because we have a community member who was a chief at one time. And he's been missing almost a year now. On October 14, it'll be 1 year. And we have no clue whatsoever where he went or what happened to him. It's been really tough on our community because we don't know. Kendall was my friend. And every time I think about him out there, not knowing where he is, it hurts. It really hurts. And it not only hurts me, it hurts the whole community, the family. And I want to know what's going to be done about the missing men. We have something for the missing women, but we also have men that go missing that are unnoticed. And we need a plan or something. Right now, I've had people dragging the Red River, looking, searching, and it's only because I have friends in those places that I'm able to do those things. And I just wish that there was something more that can be done to address this issue. I really wish we knew where he is or what happened to him. Miigwech.
Miigwech, magamakan. Aho.
Minikanin Hey, Kabmen coming is Jan. Migenin Kiku Gajan to me go on, Yenin or to wind up on the toga, Kagi on the toa, Tanchna Beminan, Kugan, Scotch Ma Inga last year and a bunch away. Whitefish Bay, Mark Wicker, I going to sing a quang, and to me go again, my gear, the family. I got the Schmangi with Nucky and Mark 33 police and the OPP getting among it the week. I got the Magini guys on to me go on, Chandy with Sokagian, Minakani guys can't the man away, I can among one, which is wind up in the way down. She got a show at the gentleman away in York, Kiteboy, Kaget, Canapachiego. Go changes in the known, you should be got this known and cave. Kijuwi so get the way at your point named Ain. Unika Chigaza. She got us kind and a much can't Tajanax non Gishpin and Nig Magi on the sing. Give pick a nonig, give pick a nonig, the family members away, kill the shing away. Bobby Aga H. Bajigononi go on and in K. Maya, Wajit Chigeat, Kawinin, Chubindigan, Chun the Morgan, Cheese Chigeat, Winoa, Chun the Magoan, and in K. one is Nigan Skamwata. Minik one in a mate, great Kamaget Kone, Nigaja Mayatagoanic. He spent this year, Kayet Aji is a seg year. Miamagini, meaning him, Minik Kenning, I just can't the man. Minik Kenning, a Kenamago, H. Buchi one. Gabin the game and Gabu so car game and the KE, Minika can the marks and I got Chuba bind up meant away. Garnishing in.
But Treaty 3 police is not doing anything.
Me away right the man, a ear. Kemage ear, Miganin amount in a man and in Kagage Chigian or any mitigation cut taken. I'm Tigojim protocols in the KE.
Protocols my ass.
Me manji got the young in or an indicate my Kagajan doing the young. Kemaga Gemag, Chikemaga Gemag, Chibijang, or a chibag with the young and Kagin and Kijik is young, Chish wing is young, so now gaining and where Chugum Kigaz at our Kaget. I should get the table, Kinesh, I should get in Barbie. Or Chibiganoni go on. To when mine go not in your OPP so yeah.
Well, the family probably doesn't even know what to do. They don't know how to go about it. They're just quiet. They don't know. They don't know what to do. They don't know who to talk to. They don't know who to see. People are coming to me and telling me about their dreams about him. And they say he's at a washroom, toilets. He's been there waiting, and we don't know which washroom that is. We don't know. We're trying to look, but we can't. We don't have the manpower to do so without any volunteers or anything. Like, we need a coordinated effort to look for him, but nothing is happening. And I don't know who should be responsible for that. I don't know if we should be, or if Treaty 3 police should be, or somebody. I don't know. And it's becoming hurtful, not just to us, but to the whole community. I mean, we don't know. We don't know what to do. You know, we need somebody to direct us too.
Okay. All I can say is that I will come and speak to the lady that I think that was his ex-wife that called me and asked, and just on my part, for our people to know that we will make an effort to reach out now and come to the community and speak to them and see where everything is at, and I guess start that coordination effort with whoever's all going to be involved in something like this, because this could happen anywhere at any time to anybody too. So I think bringing it to the attention at the national level, I hope will make this a priority for men too as well, to be part of that process when things like this happen. Me again, magi ki tawin te ma ko ge get be je no na ge nin o be ga no na ni ke ge nin ge jui stang ge jui so ka ge ang mi got gin gin de mo it is in the man mi got
Oh, Kishimigwach, Chief Cummigan, Gagin, Daroma, Kinakoitot. Any other discussion on the presentation, the report? Ogichita?
Miigwech Dan. Hikiti makto inenem o iskot kattijigatig. Gaya main nagateni mag goya gatti benta moat OPP 33 police ke ganata bit dog gagansa mag chandone geat put more effort into trying to locate Kendall. I know Kendall is a friend of mine as well. The other thing that I've always thought about in almost a year since it happened was to seek spiritual guidance through a shake tent. I know it's been done before, where there was people missing, and then when they sought guidance through ceremony, they were able to locate, their loved ones, and stuff like that. So that's why I mentioned that as another option to consider where he may be. So yeah, and then when Nathaniel was finished his reporting, I did stand up. I wanted to address, some of the comments made by our constituent councils. I was talking with our staff, and I said that we need to, provide money to 5 constituent councils that we have. So I did get them to commit to just grub stake. I will make a concerted effort to find funding for these 5 councils, but in the immediate, like right now, and our organization is in a good financial position right now, with new management and new finance people. So we're able to provide right now $25,000 each for the 5 constituent councils. And like I say, I will make a concerted effort to seek permanent funding for all the councils. I just wanted to mention that, and miigwech for all your input, miigwech. Wow.
Miigwech Ogichita, Chief Cummigan?
I just wanted to say that we're offering $10,000 reward for any information leading to the findings, or just if we find him, whoever can provide credible information will receive $10,000 from Northwest Angle 33. Thank you.
Miigwech. There was a hand up beside you. Can you identify yourself? I can't see you. Oh, okay. Gavin Diego, is there any other additional comments? Kegiba Minok, can we get a mic over to Elder Shirley Atwell? Binas ka no eh.
Kaya ni manok hindi ko kinusen dotem. May kumawen juban kigus minikaning. Gigetigo minik oega gagi gitoa tuma goege ugima kanag goege koyo gagi kagi gitoat mi mini noin oe kitoang kawini noin geget gego non da simen kan yugung wak ta simen oe ani neshtigeot utigeg maga ginsuat Women's Council guy nindo kan we kan be utisigusi nig nino endo man gigus menikaning chibit diba chimutoy nangito hani neshtigeot me tu ye shikenda man oh we have a women's council but we know nothing about what doing and how they're representing us as Kwewag. Because with us here in Nigigons Menikaning, we haven't seen Women's Council here. They haven't given us any kind of information or involved us in any of their discussions or decisions or whatever. We don't know. Lack of communication for some of us grassroots people. Going ego noon the seaman, migo bichinag noon the manganin, unoen, got the shindamoa to go egg. And to me, it's just the surface. Pangis, it doesn't tell me much, even though this is supposed to be a report on some of these things. To me, they're just touching the surface. Gawin go away when you go new in the mago seaman, dinendam, ninwinigo, nisitotam ge, nisitotam de nos, nisitotam ge nishnabemung, pangige giem to go shimung. And because of that, I've spoken to a lot of elders. Nishnabe kchaag, nibego ngikeni magma honoen skunigadan, yeninga kipamochian, dan shinabe munatago ge, mitashma kunun dogo gikchaag, begishnang guting giginun mamu ba iguing. Minuch tita shinda maungoge shkia ag anin ga pishiga boy in the nishnabe. Migo ye miyuki goen grassroots people guide not them chiguji. Miyuki git nog beba motsago. So one of the things that what I think for our grassroots people, I visited a lot of communities and I talked to our elders, and that's one of the things they're saying too is going ego babame ni masiyug. They're not really given this information. And one of the things they're wishing for is that we should be gathering our elders together. Our elders that were raised in our culture, our first language speakers, they're the ones that carry the knowledge. There's a lot of ancestral teachings that could help us as we walk this journey. There's a lot of good teachings, and I myself can see all the changes that are happening, and it's because our elders aren't being heard. So that's one of the things I said was that I'll try and bring that forward. Gather your elders together. Let's talk about some of these things that are going to help us in what's going on with the lives of our younger generation. All the the problems that we have, the drug problems, the drinking, everything. When you get down to talking about things and how people heal themselves, it goes towards our teachings as Anishinaabe people. Mini Diego Iguang, you want to get well, we have to follow our ancestral teachings and do the things that we were taught. They didn't tell us, you do this. They showed us. And that's how I learned. And then to always use our own ways. Going with was in the Egan. That's one of the things our elders said. Me shangi no dam kito. Kienzi ban kicha kienzi. Me yege baki kito in his great grandfather. Me go bechina go tapin naman yemas in the Egan me chibon no achiwich at Anishinaabe ki na insan. As soon as you pick up that paper, somebody comes for help, and you have to look. As soon as you pick it up, you're putting it in the way of helping your own people. Me said, oh, you're not eligible, or you don't fall in there, you know. And the man, all these problems that we hear, we shouldn't have to pick up that piece of paper to help our own people. You got to make that connection with spirit. That's, to me, that's the connection. I wanted to mention these things because I think it's important that you start using your elders. You can bring an elder with you when you meet. Women's Council, they should have an elder. The men, they should have an elder with them. Even if they don't understand the language, they're giving you that support, that spiritual support is there. This is what I was taught, and to see and respect my elders. They've lived this long. They were gifted. So that's why we need them. We need them to live and do some of this hard work that you guys are doing. That's why I like to mention that, and I hope you guys take that into consideration. Because that's what we need. Anishinaabe kushige gi mini go shige jichiget witnananda we at with Anishinaabe. We have our own doctors, our own medicines, our own teachers. Me gaunje ekitwan. Me go echndeket.
Oh, miigwech. Daryl, Red Sky.
Just getting back to the the question that Chief Cummingham asked, just thinking about it, and things are coming, and just based on past experiences, perhaps I could throw out a suggestion or a recommendation to the chiefs and to the National Assembly here for us to consider maybe having our own search teams and perhaps a task force that could address this kind of issue amongst our people that's happening to both our men and women. Yeah, Migach.
Miigwech? Any other comments, suggestions, ideas? Oh, Richard.
I'm going to break protocol. I was supposed to be in the booth and shut up for a while. But I come in support of Daryl. What he just said now is, I've worked with Daryl about 15 years ago, and we trekked into a lot of bush. And there was a person missing in Wapsimongi Onishin. May take about na kami gizang. The Pandone game, and we searched all over the place. And I could walk for miles and miles in the bush then. And it's a young man, a young woman's work. Mita shiega gi sayang apchik cheniguk gikagwe piko anan awya kandas gi imkosyanan. We couldn't find him, so we tried. And there was another time in Fort Alec, there was a lady missing, left the nursing home. We found her in that area. But what happened was, it's not because we wanted credit for it, but instead the police and all the army came in, they took credit for that finding. But it didn't matter. We were there, and yeah, so this is, I just want maybe, I remember Anishinaabe Park, and that was the reason why the Ojibwe, Daryl mentioned the Ojibwe Warrior Society, and that was why they came together. They formed to protect their people. Their land was in jeopardy, and they stood up to it. The Indian house was there where Anishinaabe can go. We were chased out of there eventually. As you go on, then they stole the land again. The town has it now. So these are the kind of things that are happening. We can't protect ourselves and fight for ourselves. We just get treaded on. There are new dangers developing now, this day and age. You look at what's happening down south, ICE and all the work they do. And lately I've been seeing a lot of children missing as I watch the news across Canada. In every province. And Onishinoga Binochi, Kanchimikigaswat. Somebody's taking them. And a lot of them are children. I know there's a development of right-wing groups developing their own muscle they train. So, I think there's a development of a race war. I don't know. It's a new, we're faced with a lot of dangerous stuff coming up. And Daryl alluded to developing a local one. And perhaps we can develop regional stuff, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, across the province. There's kids who are missing in Nova Scotia. You know, they could have asked us too to come and help. We can go and help them. You know, we can do a lot of that work, to work with other provinces or cities or families. And I'm 77 now, and we've been at this for years. And me, I want to know that about you, Moan. Like, I'm not promised tomorrow. That's why I speak today. To be able to get up and speak and support Daryl and Nathaniel about those developments. Me is now okay to go. Real stuff has to happen. And all the things I get to it, lady and Grand Chief. Yeah, gagi go to tamang ya pi. It's not saying in the political wing for us to continue that work. It's got to happen. Nizan inago nom gag hakin nom ej nago. Kanego gabi say. Kanego. Pushke kitote minanik. And Nizan yawag Bill C5. Kanego tipit tendawe. They don't care about our animals, our wildlife. They're going to run right over them. So that's the way it looks. We gotta stick together. We gotta develop. Because now kuchiging sigoma. Pag nagtiway ka nagmagabiyon. Miga tsindaman miga abugisendaman gainin chibagam sky ma kinuin chip mi nito zawing. I just want to encourage Daryl and Nathaniel. Continue that work. Kigo pagijikik. Mage beji kagi onishing manish nabe ma kyunji manchi atuma ing Manitou going to ing Shoal Lake. Kionishin that's about 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe not that long. No mego. Then we should at that time gather together. We talk about information. Nobody knew about what was happening. If we had that information, Kitagi, Wichit, Wicha, that family, Chimpiko, what no Tanima and Yuan. No sign of them. So, Pushkesigo, and so, on the shing away. And she goes on the shing me ni button up to Shimag and Sugar out. Kawich to it. And it's navage kun shing up to Debbie Nack. Just get Nakamigan. Me on one on the kit one. You guys getting in them.
Miigwech. I'd like to say miigwech to everybody contributing to the discussion. There's been many good comments, suggestions, notes are being taken, and you are being heard. So, Chief Leon Mandamin, Mike, please.
Bonjour, Chief Leon Mandamin. I didn't know Kendall Paul, but I definitely heard of the name before he went missing. I feel Chief Cummigan's hurt I want to thank Richard for mentioning that person that's missing. His name is Kirk Boucher. He's been missing for, I want to say, about 3 or 4 years. Early in my term, March 2024, as many chiefs can attest, you have a lot of people reaching out to you, congratulating you and how they can be of assistance. And early on in my term, I got to speak with members from the Treaty 3 Police. And a couple of investigating officers reached out to me at that time, and we talked about this missing person, Kirk Boucher. And things, I'm not saying that Treaty 3 Police are not doing their due diligence, but it wasn't soon after that discussions with respect to this missing person was kind of fell to the wayside. And yeah, it's pretty, I don't know, it's kind of like a hopeless feeling because Kirk was a friend of mine. And Daryl Ritzkai is a cousin of mine. He's a brother. His mom and my mom were sisters. I have tons of respect for Daryl. And I just want to say that I echo what he said about finding, developing some sort of search team of some sort. And it's definitely needed in our area. And I hope that we can pass some sort of resolution in terms of moving forward with this, because and I hope I'm wrong in this, but I know that somewhere along the way we're going to lose more people. So I think it's this kind of initiative is a worthwhile one. Thank you for listening.
How miigwech chigumakan. Any other comments? Chief Big George?
Boo. Bonjour. Kenis nishne kaza tek dotem. Nyanga shing doji. Wagi ni miigwech agua. Matega na kfoga na gai ta mongita umas. Nagi bisnda una nik. Oa tashkari ni magi nip me eket. Dine magan gani gam shirame kwasi alan. And that was back in the 80s. Once Nick Kajo Gimaka Nigma and a bit of Jikamat to women, chat. And you go out to clean you to come caught when they pay it to get the nation. That's back in the 80s. And all they said was, They can't find him. They have no clue whatsoever. And that's it. Case closed. But you know what? The community is still in turmoil over that for the longest time because we don't even know where he went, where he is. Or he's probably not still alive, but you know what I mean. That hopeless feeling. I know what they're going through, these people here. I felt that before too. And it gets harder every time. Unless we do something, I don't know what we can do, but there's got to be something that we can do. I know the Grand Chief talked about the shaking tent. That's one avenue. Maybe the other one is politically somehow through maybe our national organizations, Grand Council, to start a process that we can reclaim these people that are missing. I haven't given up yet, and I don't know how much time I got, but I haven't given up yet. That feeling that we will find out someday because they keep finding people everywhere in Winnipeg. And I can only imagine that in Kenora as well, in our surrounding areas. So whatever motion or, process that we can think of, I will fully support it because I support Darrell's work too. I admire him for trying his work with so little monies that they have. And the same with the Women's Council. It's hard for them, I know. Sometimes it feels like it's futile. But you know what, they're headstrong and I know they can do it, what they're doing right now. There's got to be a way.
Miigwech, Gamakan, Darrell.
If you, I don't know, you will recall a few years ago, several years ago, one of our women from Grand Council Treaty 3 went missing in Calgary. And at that time, the mother reached out to me to see if our men could assist in finding her out there. And and this was done through the support of the Grand Council Treaty 3 at the time. I brought this to the National Assembly, if you recall that was held at Wajashkonigam Nation in the arena, asking for support to go and find one of our women that went missing out there. So happened to be the Grand Chief's niece. And we had about 18 men and women, the family and the women, the aunties, went with us to go look for this girl, our relative. And the same thing was there, as Chief here just said, the police there said, told the family, go home, we'll find her. And she didn't give up, and so that's why she brought it to the Grand Council's attention, and then they reached out to us to assist, and we sat down with the mother, and we went out there to look for her, and it was I'm former military. I don't know if the National Assembly knows this, but I used to be a combat engineer in the Airborne Regiment back in the day. And so this whole search operation was like a military operation. I had friends out west who were also former military that came to assist us. that came to assist us, and we ran the search like it was a military operation to look for this, our relative. We found out we were up against the Hells Angels. They were behind this whole thing that what had happened to this girl, and we were actually doing surveillance in their, looking at their what do you call their hangouts, where they all hang out, the Hells Angels. So we're conducting surveillance on their hangout and trying to see, but you know, there was like a lot of people coming and going out of there, and we had put posters all over Calgary. We looked everywhere. We went into bars. We went to all the alleys, you know. We even went undercover, dressed up like street people, to go talk to people because try to gain information. We tried everything. We tried everything. And then the suggestion came up to go through ceremony. And so the ceremony was conducted, a shake tent was conducted, and the people were told where this woman would be located. Long story short, she was located. She's home now. And over the years, I've thought about her. I've never met her. I hear she's doing well. She's doing well now. She's living a full life. But it does take a toll on you physically. So when the Grand Chief is saying that maybe perhaps that we need to go back to our ways, and especially that elder behind me was saying to use our elders and to use our teachings, that is our way moving forward. I believe that. We need to incorporate that into everything that we do, such as this here. When it comes to my brother's member in his community that went missing and is still missing, and to the gentleman that we just talked about, Kendall, and the chief here too as well. You know, we need to go back, and I would suggest this as well as part of our search team or task force for this kind of issue. We also need to incorporate our ceremonies into this part of the work so that we can bring people home. Migach.
Miigwech. Daryl? Okay, we have somebody waving their arms back there. Can we get a mic to that lady? Where is the mic runner?
Oh, Buju. Mimi go see you go where's the totem. Sorry, I can't stand up. I got a voice of concern, and it's to do with me. And this lady back at home got up. It was a well-bridey day, right? And this lady got up and spoke. She spoke very badly. In the real world, it would be called slander and disgracing a person that's older than her. So all in all, it blew up some more. So the people are actually trying to say, asking me to leave. This concern was about my dogs. My dogs didn't bite anybody. So today, in the result of that, I don't have my dogs. I had to bring them to somewhere, and those people don't want to surrender my dogs back to me. But all in all, you know, how can someone speak so wrongly of somebody? You know, this whatever was going on had to be at least good 35 years in the past. So this person, I think, should be removed from her position. You know, she's supposed to be in the health and wellness program, right? There was nothing about health and wellness that day. You know, I've been to a different area. I went to actually up in Kenora. I talked to a couple older women. They said, yeah, that she should apologize to you, and the people that stood up also should apologize to you, because they fabricated this whole incident. So that's what all I want to say, because to me, right now, my people, my family, wrongly accused me, and it doesn't feel good. You know, it's a gripe probably, but, you know, like I said, in the real world, it would be slander. And sometimes people say we're not in the real war because we're on First Nations. You know, I hear that a lot. But we're people, we're human beings, you know. I don't go next door and tell them that, you know, your dog barks all night, why don't you shut it up, you know? Things like that. So, I don't know, maybe you guys might have a suggestion, because I don't have I wouldn't have a place. Dogs are gone, so I still sit here, you know, I got this crink in my neck, because I have to speak about it. And it also doesn't help my well-being. I already got a disability, and it's pain. I have pain every day, you know, even with the medication. This pain that just surges through you. So that's all I got to say. All right, miigwech. Sorry if I insulted or, you know, people. Miigwech.
Miigwech. Before we go to Chief Cummigan, just a gentle reminder, we have the Chiefs Committee's update coming up, so bear that in mind. Chief Cummigan.
Sorry, I just wanted to apologize for my previous outburst about to Daryl there about protocols, my ass. I know that wasn't very ladylike, but I've never been a lady. I've always been a tomboy since I was living with my uncles and grandpa. I grew up with nothing but men, so there you go. Just wanted to explain that. Miigwech.
Miigwech, Chief Cummigan. Okay, if there isn't any more comments or suggestions, I know we've heard a lot, and notes are being taken. There's some good, positive suggestions. Money's been given. We got some more direction in terms of what to do about the missing men or women or kids. So that was a good, healthy discussion. I enjoy that. Miigwech. I'll turn it over to my co-facilitator, Donna.
Miigwech. I just wanted to make a quick announcement before we go into our chief's updates, our chief committee updates. So up on that top level there, I'm hoping I didn't miss it, but they have 3 draws taking place. I think they were supposed to draw at 3, so They might extend that time a bit further, but this draw is sponsored by Little Otter Economic Development Corporation. That is what Chief Allen had mentioned this morning in his remarks. So if you haven't already, if you wanted to sneak away, stretch your legs, you can participate in that draw. Next, I'm going to call upon the Social Chiefs update members. So members who are part of that update are Social Chiefs. If there's any associated technicians that are part of that, if you can just come to the head table here. We have mics arranged here for you to provide those updates. We're going to begin with the Social Chiefs, followed by the Economic Chiefs. And then before we end, we'll go to the Cultural Chiefs and Environmental Chiefs. And we'll also need some help with running the mics too. After these updates, we'll have an open floor. So if we have any Treaty 3 staff who are available to help run the mics too, if needed.
Pretty lengthy. But you say here and Of course, yeah. New staff, right? You guys are new staff? Did you already introduce yourself before? Yeah. Try not to. Did you introduce yourself yet? Did you introduce yourself? Did you want me to? Did you want to introduce yourself? Sure. Before I start the health check. Okay. But I'll do this first. Yep. Okay. Mine. Bonjour. Min mewe ko nebik, dishnikaz beva mategi jiguke, maingene kwenske. Nigane benesi ke digo, mujash kumbutem, ketchwanong dunji, metegan dishitigui. I'm Chief Kariadat He's Norwegian from Kitchewanong Anishinaabe Nation. And I'm the chair for the Social Chiefs. And I'm just going to provide, I have some speaking notes, but I'm going to provide a brief update on the social file and the health file. And then I believe there's going to be some requests for some guidance at the end of the presentation. So for the social update, we have Karen Foster, who is now the Director of Social at Grand Council Treaty 3. So to my left. So these are new hires. And then we also have Laura Stasiak, who is our new Director of Health for Treaty 3. She'll do a brief introduction when we get to the health transformation part of our presentation. So the social unit, as you are aware, operates under the guidance of the Social Chiefs Committee and integrates traditional governance with social services to ensure programs are effective and culturally grounded. The voices of our men and women are represented through the men's and women's councils, which play an essential role in governance and balance with Grand Council Treaty 3. Mamawichi Gabawita Ininiwag and Gagigitu Ikwewag are currently under the Social Department. Mandate is to advocate for the well-being of Anishinaabe children, families, and communities, ensuring that social services remain community-driven and culturally relevant. We carry out this mandate through policy advocacy on issues such as violence, trafficking, poverty, homelessness, and the implementation of Treaty 3 of Benochi Nakunagewa and the Child Care Law. The Social Director represents Grand Council Treaty 3 at various committees under the Chiefs of Ontario, including the Social Services Coordination Unit, the Early Learning and Child Care Roundtable, the Final Settlement Agreement Advisory Council, the Joint Social Services Table, and the 1965 Indian Welfare Agreement Advisory Committee. So the updates from the social are, there's an upcoming Early Learning and Child Care Conference in Toronto on October 2nd and 3rd. Discussions to be held monthly with the Housing Solutions Network to support accurate and respectful data collection on homelessness while ensuring that information shared with First Nations for funding purposes is secure and properly managed. Karen also represents Grand Council Treaty 3 on the Indigenous Women's Advisory Council, which is advancing work on MMIWG, economic opportunities, and survivor supports. Training for all Ontario Works social assistance administrators will take place on November 4th and 5th, 2025. Training can be in person or virtually. It's through ONWA. There are ongoing tribunal processes around the Ontario Financial Agreement, and a hearing date has been set for December 10th, 11th, 12th, 2025 for cross-examination, and December 15th, 16th, 17th, 2025 for oral argument. Written submission for Koo and Nan are due on January 14th, 2026, and we'll have until January 30th, 2026 to reply to their written submissions, which is the last step before the tribunal makes a decision. Koo staff and council welcome the attendance of Ontario First Nations leadership and supporters at the cross-examinations and oral argument. The hearings will be held in Ottawa at the Canadian Human Rights Tribunal. Your presence at the hearing will send a strong message of unity and respect for First Nations self-determination. At the Grand Council Treaty 3 Social Chiefs Committee meeting, it was recommended that a technical working group be established to further analyze and advance the 1965 Indian Welfare Agreement reform process. This group will include representatives from social, economic, and data departments, along with political advisors and the legal team. Their work will focus on research and strategy development in areas such as capital, infrastructure, data, funding, and income assistance. The team will prepare a plan of action and outline the next steps. It was also emphasized that there's an opportunity to exercise jurisdiction to meet the needs of all Treaty 3 communities with no borders dividing them. These considerations are essential, and each step in the process must be carefully followed. The Social Department has attended some First Nation communities in the South and the East, as well as some events, which include powwows and gatherings, to promote and provide information to our First Nations. Community engagements will continue. Any crucial and new information will continue to be provided to our leadership. Megan Gold will be joining the Social Department on October 8th as the Social Policy Manager. And our work continues to be guided by the wisdom of elders who remind us to listen carefully, take our time, think of the children first, and make the future better than the past. In closing, the Social Department remains committed to protecting the rights, supporting communities, and strengthening nationhood in all areas of well-being. I also just wanted to add that some of the directives that were provided from the social chiefs were to meet quarterly as social chiefs so that we can stay, so that our lines of communication remain open, because the files that we oversee under our social committee are pretty large files, and they're really important files to the lives of our communities. So we're planning to meet on a quarterly basis moving forward. The other aspect is the work on a Benochi Nakunagewa, our child care law. There's going to be a gathering in November of 2026, so that date will be forthcoming. That is the social update. Questions? Going once? Twice? Okay. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to go into the Health Transformation Department update. So again, I'm going to have our new staff member, Laura Stasiak, introduce herself just briefly to our assembly and to our chiefs.
Is this me? Oh. Hello, I'm Laura Stasiak, like she said. I am new to Grand Council Treaty 3. I was born and raised in Kenora, but my family is from Northwest Angle 33 First Nations. I just want to say thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. This is my first assembly, and happy to work alongside of everyone here. Miigwech.
Yeah, I was just trying to tear down our presentation. Because we're already behind schedule.
All right, the Health Transformation Department update. Over the summer months, Grand Council Treaty 3 continued to meet with federal and provincial partners on health transformation. The provincial partners continue to support the health transformation work and have committed funding for the next 3 years. However, the federal partners are only committed to funding up to the end of this fiscal year. Considerations for funding beyond this fiscal year end if Grand Council Treaty 3 meets the following 3 key deliverables. One is reformation, restarting of the health leadership, health system coordination table. 2 is the development of a relationship agreement between all organizations and leaders on the coordination table. Draft health governance model. So those are the 3 key deliverables that are required. Grand Council Treaty 3 is in discussions with Harmony Johnson, who has extensive experience with the BC Health Authority, and she is committed to work with the Health Transformation team to meet these deliverables by end of fiscal year. The Health Law Declaration, which was adopted at a special Chiefs meeting in December 2023. We have 12 communities that have not yet signed the declaration, as they have not been engaged in the health law. So that's kind of an action item that needs some follow-up. Calvin Morso has been contracted to complete the remaining community engagements over the fall-winter months. We encourage communities to work with the health transformation team to complete this important work. Midwifery, Grand Council Treaty 3 has been successful in securing Safer Births funding for midwifery services. The funding is ongoing and sustainable. That will support the expansion of 2 midwifery programs with Treaty 3 and Wazagijik Nanandawe Yiwigamink. Safer Births funding is being flowed out of 26 communities, 6 health organizations, and 2 midwifery programs to enhance maternal health and safer birth services within Treaty 3. A midwifery knowledge gathering will be held at the end of October in Kenora and in the spring in Fort Francis. These gatherings with the knowledge keepers will help embed the traditional knowledge and cultural practices of Treaty 3 into the foundation of the birthing lodges. Mental health and addictions, Bruce Oak Recovery Center and Treaty 3 established an agreement for 2 emergency beds to close the gap in access to treatments in July of 2024. The agreement will sunset in February 2026 if funding is not secured. Resolution CA 25-07 supported the work to complete a feasibility study for a youth withdrawal management program to close the gap on access for youth withdrawal services. Funding was secured and an RFP has been completed and posted. Grand Council Treaty 3 had secured $2 million in mental health funding through the Ministry of Health. This funding will support current and new work for mental health and addictions. Funding will support annual MHA funding for the 26 communities to enhance salary, capacity, and/or crisis response for MHA, grief and life promotion, strategic planning, social emergency coordination and emergency fund, enhance existing treatment program, drug strategy work, drug task force, ad hoc committee, Ontario Health. Grand Council Treaty 3 continues to partner with Ontario Health through the Joint Ontario Indigenous Health Committee. Key work in Treaty 3 has has continued to include kidney planning, improving kidney and cancer screening, cancer research, review of Indigenous quality standards of care for patients and providers. Data governance work continues. However, we are currently recruiting for health transformation data analysts to lead the work on data governance. On the interim, Sarah Warpole will continue with this work. The Data Governance Committee will develop a data governance agreement with Ontario Health. This process will be initiated over the fall-winter months. 2 SLGBTQ resource pamphlets have been developed in partnership with Jordan Anshkanab from Ever Sick, Arts and Katrina from LGBT Youth Line. The pamphlets have been distributed to the communities. Emergency management. One-time funding secured the purchase of 4 satellite phone systems for the Accessibility Van program and 1 for base station at the Main Street office. 4 baby and infant car seats for the Accessibility Van program. 25 new drivers recruited and trained for the Accessibility Van program. We'd also like to acknowledge and congratulate the 22 candidates, health directors, organizational health reps, who will graduate with their certification as First Nations health managers. So I guess the 2 items that require some guidance or directive from our chief's table is 1, the funding from the ministry. That's to be highlighted. The funding from the ministry, federal funding, is being discontinued as of the end of this fiscal year, which obviously poses a problem. And that's based on deliverables not being completed, 0 tangible deliverables being completed. And also clarity on the health law for our nation. We need to provide a continuing mandate. I realize there's been previous contractors that were hired to do work on our health law, and we've sort of started, stopped, restarted, stopped. And then we're kind of at a where are we at type stage now when it comes to the development of our health law. And then the declaration. The declaration has signatures, 12 signatures are required on the declaration, and just kind of highlight that. So for any nations that are not part of the health law declaration, if you could have a discussion with our new health director in terms of how we can support the declaration, would be appreciated. And I think that's everything for the social and health update.
Does anyone have any questions or comments for our social committee while they are up here? Going once, twice. Oh, do we have one? Oh, Chief Obongi. If we can get her mic working. There you go.
Bonjour. I just had just some concerns regarding your deliverables, the 3 that were questionable. Are those, is there opportunity to fulfill the requirement on those deliverables?
Is your question, are we able to do it by the end of the 6 months?
Yeah, just so that you could secure funding going forward.
Yeah. And so we had a trilateral meeting in Fort Frances a few weeks ago. And so this is where the federal partners came. We had some unexpended funding that we tried to carry forward for a 3 to 5 year plan to get health governance model and a health law expanded worked on, and they didn't want to hear it. Unfortunately, they said 6 months. So when I talked to Harmony Johnson, she's the consultant that worked with the BC First Nations Health Authority, She said it's something that we can do, but it'll require collaboration and a lot of work in the next 6 months. So a relationship agreement and deciding who needs to sit at the table, those are things we can do very easily and very quickly, and she has experience in both of those. It'll be the health governance structure and how we want health transformation to look. And so I think when I brought this forward to social chiefs, the question was who sits at the health collaboration table. I know social chiefs want to, and it should be leaders, directors from each organization, and then the representatives from communities, but so direction on who sits on that. I think it's possible, 6 months to have a draft, but we have to come together and think kind of big. So it's just, nothing has to be finalized. It's a working document, this draft, but something. It would be $800,000 cut for health transformation, and I know that everyone here has been working on it for many, many years and has done a lot of good work towards it, and so to see it fall apart would be devastating.
Miigwech Chief, is there any other comments? Comments or questions? Okay.
Do you want anything else you want to talk about? I just got update from Tiffany here for mental health that the Chief Scott meeting has been rescheduled, the Scott analysis, to November 12th, 13th, and 14th in Winnipeg. If anyone was interested in attending the last one, it had to be reorganized due to conflicting schedules.
Not that Chief Scott. We're talking about the Chiefs as in Scott.
The acronym SCOT.
Okay, so seeing no questions or comments from the floor, that will conclude our social chiefs update. Miigwech social chiefs and technicians for taking the time to present and report on this information.
So what about the lead? Does anyone apply for transformation?
Are we done? Yeah. All right, Miigwech.
We are going to call upon the Economic Chiefs Committee to come up here and get ready for their report. I was asked also to share that there are cold drinks available outside in a canoe. Apparently, the cooks had arranged a nice presentation of cold drinks, so if you are so inclined or feel in need of a nice cold drink, those are available. So we will have the Economic Chiefs Committee come up to the table and present their updates. As they make their way up here, I just wanted to send a quick reminder about the shuttle. There are shuttles available leaving each day from Rendezvous and Super 8 at 8 a.m. And then they will return at the end of each day back to those hotels. So just a reminder, those are accessible vans available for everyone. After this update, we'll have a short break, so stay tuned. I know it's tough after lunch, but we can get through this. All right, we're just arranging for the presentation to be up on the screens here. Just a friendly reminder as well that there are headsets available for those who want to listen in on the translation. We have translation services available. Richard is in the booth right now. We also have Elaine. They take turns providing those services for us. I see there are snacks available in the back too, so if you haven't done so already, you can sneak over there and grab a snack.
Still waiting for my refund from IRS. I filed it in February. They said 6 to 8 weeks, but it's been longer. It's supposed to take 6, 7 grand. Sprayed in here. There's Chief Smith. Do you run off? Do you run off?
It's hiding. It's under the table, maybe. How are you, Chief?
Oh, I'm struggling, but still.
I guess we're
wanted
ready?
to come here.
Ami Jamachtaing. Bonjour, Danawe Magnetuk. Now Gabo Dijnikas. Makwa Dutem. Opishiko Kang Dunji. Miguel Dinak. Anishnabekma Katawat. Ningigus. Ziminikin Kaning, First Nation, Miigwech. I recognize the sacred items displayed on the floor today, the feathers, tobacco, spirits, songs that are rendered, and the gracious hospitality of the nation we're on. Bonjour, good afternoon, chiefs, proxies, staff, and citizens of the Anishinaabe Nation here in Treaty 3. Firstly, miigwech for the opportunity to address the nation with respect to providing an update on the activities for the Economic Chiefs Committee and the following policy areas. We're going to be looking in on the CJ property, data sovereignty, economic protocols, EV charging, food sovereignty, housing, Treaty 3 distribution center. We will provide a brief update on a number of items. Our focus for today will be mainly on housing.
also the CJ property. In terms of housing, this includes the Treaty 3 Housing Committee, the Housing Strategy, Treaty 3 Homelessness Strategy, Finland's Homelessness Model Research, Housing Navigator Model, and the Treaty 3 Distribution Center. Tomorrow, we will have Henry Wall from Boreal Investments here to make a presentation to chiefs with respect to establishing a housing investment initiative for Treaty 3. The initiative will establish a funding framework with Canada and unlock private financing, which will create a long-term community ownership and equity growth strategy. Please ensure you make yourself available to hear this presentation. I would also like to thank Chief Wayne Smith, Chief Sherry Ackaby, Chief Wes Big George, Chief Darlene Cummingham, Chief Judy Whitecloud, and Chief E.J. Fontaine for their contributions to the success of the Economic Chiefs Committee. I would also like to thank the staff of the Economic Unit for their continued work on these policy areas. You're all doing fantastic work. And also, later on, we're going to be putting on the floor a resolution tomorrow on housing investment framework. And you'll hear that presentation tomorrow. So I'll stop there. Miigwech for listening.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Haley Krolick. I'm the Senior Strategy and Innovation Manager within the Economic Unit.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maria Montoya. I'm the Strategy and Innovation Analyst.
Bonjour, Bogore Jivak de Kaza Tiktote, Gazagate Gamaga, Doji, Chief Darlene Cummingham, Northwest Angle 33.
Bonjour, Jawanagabo Indigo, I think you know them. Nigusman Carding Nendoji, Gary Allen. I'm the Senior Political Advisor, Director for Economic, and the CEO for Treaty 3 Investment Group.
Bonjour, Ponkimenes Nijnekas, the Tik Dotem, Nagachuanang Dunji, Wayne Smith, Chief Nagachuanang.
So with that, we'll start. We are going to be very quick. So we'll start off with the CJ land transfer to Treaty 3. So to transfer the CJ property, we needed to create a legal entity to accept the property and navigate the additions to reserve process. And then to simplify the process of creating a joint reserve for Treaty 3 First Nations, it would be advisable to set the lands apart and reserve for one or two First Nations, and then have those lands designated to an entity that is acceptable to the relevant First Nations, Grand Council Treaty Number 3, and then CJ trustees. The CJ trustee may create a detailed trust agreement whereby they hold a joint reserve for the use and benefit of all 28 Grand Council Treaty 3 First Nations, and enter into such leases, licenses, and agreements as are consistent with the purpose and distribute all income gained equally to all communities. It is recommended that prior to completion of the transfer of the property, the CJ Trustee Committee will request to have the property added to reserve status for the benefit of all Treaty 3 First Nations, and in accordance with Canada's additions to reserve policy. So a land use agreement will be required because the environmental work cannot occur before the archaeological assessment work is completed. This will allow Iskataysaga Ganing, 39, Shoal Lake 40, Animki Wazing, 37, and all First Nations in Treaty 3 Grand Council to access and use the land while the due diligence is being completed. The environmental work is scheduled to be completed in 3 to 5 years. And so where we are now, CJ land transfer to Treaty 3, directed by trustee chiefs to not make a decision on the property without Nortosango 33, Nortosango 37, Shoal Lake 40, and Iskataysaga Ganing. And then we also received a letter from the chief of Iskataysaga Ganing stating that they are not ready to make a decision. So what this has involved is basically what we have chosen to do is halt the land transfer and environmental assessment process until the community can have a proper engagement with their citizens and give us their blessing to move forward. So until Shoal Lake 39 can go through their review and community engagement processes. So what we plan to do is use this time now to continue to meet with our elders to hear what they want to do with the land, including what we had heard in our initial discussions, included building a commemoration site for survivors and also a healing center, and then possibly look at housing. But we need to solidify what the intentions of the elders are to do with that land. So then we could put it within a trust agreement. So working towards ironing out the trustee agreement so that when the trustees sign on, the purpose of the land will be clearly defined for all communities. And so and then we also continue to do our research with the paper records and the physical ground search. We do have the archaeological flight operator has completed the LiDAR imaging of the entire property, as well as thermal and multispectral images in areas of interest. And then we're also continuing to work with our elders to ensure that we are following through with all of our cultural protocols, and that's the basis for all of our decisions with respect to the property. And then we're also coordinating wellness events with IRS staff and our staff, and because of the nature and emotional standing of the property. So with that, I'm going to move over to housing. I know that data sovereignty, food sovereignty, they're all important items, but they are available on your package. So with that, I'm going to ask Haley. Oh, sorry, Maria.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm going to be presenting around Treaty 3 housing and all the work that we have been doing since 2021. This first presentation shows a timeline of all the work that has been done. In April 2021, we started with the Chiefs Resolution and the economic mandate. In October 2021, we listened to the communities, visited the communities in Treaty 3, and these, together with a clear direction, we created a survey to see all the priorities and challenges that the community are going through around housing. In March 2022, we created the housing data collection and review. We reviewed the service and assessment of the 3D3 houses, summarized key findings, and issued the 3D3 phase for housing and identity top issues to work on. In May 2024, we started working with Gray and Ivy. They provided a report, commissioned and completed from them around the housing report, which also include all the surveys that were collected from Clear Direction in 2021. After that, in April 2025, in January 2025, we created the homeless strategy, which was a framework with clear direction, ensuring it is clear priority to the overall approach to gain more housing in the territory. After that, in April 2025, we created the housing implementation plan. We worked together with Seven Feathers Consulting to create the 3D3 housing implementation and start working together to improve the housing in all the 28 communities. After that, in May 2025, we strengthened the housing governance across 3D3, recognized the need of tribal council involved, and through the chief support, forming 3D3 Housing Governance Committee made of AKRC, the BMOC, PWI, not that one, sorry, that's 3. After that, in May 2025, we created the Housing Governance Committee Foundation, developed the term of reference to guide the work of the 3D3 Housing Governance Committee, rooted in Inakonigawen, sorry. And then finally, in May 2025, Chief support the Housing Implementation Plan, received during the Chiefs Assembly resolution supporting the Housing Implementation Plan. And here is where we are now.
Maybe you have to look at this one. Good job.
Some of the information that was provided through the work between Clear Direction and Gray and Ivy, all that information was given in a report and put it all together by Gray and Ivy. Some of the information that was put in this report was the key metrics from the 2021 census and the 2023 and 2024 Grand Council 3D3 Houses Assessment provided insight into 3D3 housing. Here on the left, on the right, sorry, you can see the graphics of all the issues that housing have in all the communities. And in around 2,611 homes, 671 are overcrowded, and 1,566 need major repairs, often twice as severe as in the nearby non-indigenous areas. This highlights the urgent need for targeted housing strategies. In this presentation, you can see the common building deficiencies found in this in the First Nation. This was identified again in the survey did by Clear Direction and put together by Gray and Ivy. Some of the most common, it was divided in 3 different sections. The first one was the common exterior deficiencies in First Nation building components, which highlighted the most common building deficiencies like foundation, plumbing, windows, and others. The second one was the common interior deficiencies in First Nation building components. So some of these ones are like floor framing, wall structures, and leaks. And the third one was the most common infrastructure and community needs, which are related to housing, social support and assistance, public infrastructure, and emergency and safety services. After that, we created the homeless strategy. This strategy was built into two different main streams. The first one was prevention and mitigation. It recognizes housing shortages and overcrowding as root causes, calls for purpose-built housing, like healing shelters, community-based supports like mental health, healthcare, life skills, and employment. Number 3 is the short term. Establish communication partnership with the hospitals, correction, and police to support citizens' discharges released without secure housing or transport. And the number 4 is long term, which integrates homelessness prevention into the broader Treaty 3 housing strategy through negotiations with Canada. The second stream was caretaking. The number 1 is addresses immediate needs of citizens already experiencing homeless. The number 2 propose First Nation-led transitional housing, including tiny homes by village pilot in both Kenora and Fort Francis. The third one, villages will provide secure housing with wraparound services like health, counseling, cultural justice, and life skills, and be co-developed with local communities. And finally, the number 4 is success depends on sustainable funding and a strong governance framework. Another finding through the work that we did with Gray and Abby was the feedback that we received around the skills and topics that we should include related to the workshops. Some of the main ones are support for direction workshops, share resources, youth included, communication, understanding the home, and skills needed to be relevant. For the support for direction workshop is bringing communities together to share ideas that align with their needs. For the share resources and documents they can take home from the workshops. Youth included, smaller groups is preferred to work better with them. Communications, sharing documents, ideas, and photos from events, workshops, and gatherings. Understanding the home, when people understand and participate in the design process, they are more likely to take care of it. And the skills needed to be relevant, recognition of participation, skills acquired, knowledge gained, capacity developed, and certification added to their portfolio. For this one is the feedback that we got from Grand Council Tree Housing Strategy. There are common topics that we have merged, which will continue to develop as we keep working together with the communities. This graphic shows the Treaty 3 housing strategy. The first one is communication, and is related to stay informed and aware of what others are doing and how they are doing it, as well as sharing ideas so that other communities can follow and use them as examples. The support for distribution and training centers. It's around large-scale training opportunities available for construction, HR, housing inspectors, finance, data managers, etc. And also housing is staying local by being designed and built by communities. The next one is support for shared services model, shared services resources list, share local resources, contractors, and businesses, as well as those from other communities, and share documents and policies list. Share policy frameworks to avoid having to start from scratch and to allow the addition on their own internal processes for housing policies. Finally, importance of data sovereignty, self-determined funding models, which is accurate to data and affects all funding resources in the community, and housing portfolios. Based on all this information and more information that was provided in the Gray and Ivy report, they brought to us 7 main recommendations. The first one was training, integration in distribution center, and First Nation warehouse workshops. Community wellness integrated into development of First Nation warehouse and knowledge, engagement workshops in communities to develop First Nation warehouse building, which we're planning to implement in the warehouse. Economic opportunities through the process of design and uses for the First Nation warehouse and workshops, process of building homes from distribution center and First Nation warehouse or training facilities. And the number 6 is process of development of the distribution centers. And finally, number 7 is benefits of community design and built housing. We have been working also together with the community housing, and one of the requests that they gave us is doing a little bit of research about the Finland's homeless model research. So for this is a prevention and integration initiative. Their principle is housing is a human right, secure housing comes first before other services. The approach is immediate access to one's own apartment, housing provided without condition, like sobriety treatment services or supports offered after housing is secure. So basically they provide the housing before they help them with any other issues that they may have on the side. The implementation led by state municipalities, health and social services, NGOs, and private developers, and can be delivered through scattered apartments or dedicated housing units. So yeah, there's housing in different apartments in Finland, or also they build apartments or tiny houses specifically for homelessness. Network and training is housing first network developers, train workers and cooperation. The goal is to eliminate homelessness nationally, and it's coordinated by ISATIO.
Sorry, I just wanted to add to this conversation about the Finland's homelessness model. All right, in Finland, they had about 18,000 people that were homeless. So what they did was they brought together all the service organizations together into one room. Doesn't matter if you're child welfare, health services, justice, and all the different service providers. They brought them all together and they talked about homelessness and how to deal with homeless. And in the span of 10 years, they reduced the number of people living on the streets from 18,000 to 3,000 people. So that's pretty significant in terms of having an impact on the number of people homeless. And a lot of times we have to eliminate the silo mentality. We have to eliminate people just looking at what they can do in the service delivery. So it's about having that conversation to deal with homelessness. And so this is the model that people have been looking at to help them deal with, as we have a number of homeless people in Fort Francis, Kenora, Dryden, and we want to evaluate this model and at least start the conversation within Grand Council. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Maria.
Yes, Gary was mentioning, you can see here the graphic. In 1986, they had around 18,000 homeless, and in 2024, they went around 4,000 homeless in the whole country. So the philosophy of housing first is based on 4 different pillars. The first one is housing enables independent lives. So as mentioned before, they provide housing before anything else. They provide the house, and after that, they provide the other services related to health, or mental health. Respect of choice, they can have treatment. People who receive the houses or apartments provided by Housing First don't have to have treatment if they don't have to. They are not forced to receive it. The third pillar is rehabilitation and empowerment. Staff treat residents as equals and build trust and community. Part of this one, for what I read, is they charge a little bit of rent just to make homelessness understand that that's their house, that's theirs. So they kind of fall in love with their new lifestyle. Finally, integration and community connection. Housing helps residents to turn a dwelling into a home, and also the support that they have in Housing First helps them to tie better connections with family and improve their networks. Insights for 3D3 housing strategy. Rights-based approach resonates with an initiative understanding that housing is an inherent right. Collaborative governance, it highlights the value of coordination across nations, tribal councils, Grand Council 3D3, and external partners. Housing First principle suggests prioritizing immediate access to housing with culturally grounded support following. Implementation pathways begin at the autonomy level with new regulation and policies. Regional implementation ensures consistent communication and coordination. Communities can use the model as guideline to develop transitional apartment, treating shelter as a human right. The language and the stigma redefine what homelessness means within 3D3. Move away from terms like chronic homeless. Create categories that reduce stigma, streamline services, and improve access. And finally, a long-term vision. 3D3 wide effort to eliminate homelessness within all the 28 communities. Finally, we work on using Housing First idea and adapting it to 3D3. So we divided it in 7 different categories, with the first one being the core principle. For 3D3, could be the same principles apply, like housing is first, but housing must reflect Anishinaabe values of community traditions, belief, land, and collective well-being. The housing stock, limited housing stock on reserve, but we can build new houses or apartments, renovation and community-led designs, like multi-generational or land-based housing. The support services, same as in Finland, mental health, addictions, employment, and healthcare, but also we should include cultural healing, land-based practices, elder support, trauma-informed care, and housing navigators. Funding and governance must align with federal or provincial programs, but led firstly by Treaty 3 leadership. Target groups, larger focus, like youth, women fleeing violence, elders, families, and people impacted by intergenerational trauma. Implementation approach, community-driven rollouts first. Start with pilots in a community in Treaty 3, and after we see and polish how that one works, we can start adapting that one in a bigger scale. And finally, the community role is a stronger role for cultural mentorship and shared healing spaces. Finally, we find the homelessness in Treaty 3 data. In Kenora District, the housing waiting list has increased 354% since 2011. Point in time count in October 24, 500 individuals identified as homeless. 344 surveyed and 156 observed. The ones that identified as indigenous was 249 self-identified, and only 16% specified their community, and 84 were unknown or unclear. This is around KDSB and in 9 municipalities and 4 incorporated territories. And the next one is in Rainy River District with 37 individuals identified as homeless. 78% were indigenous. No undercount from COVID restriction on limited methods. And this one covers RRDS-SAB from 13 communities and covering 240 kilometers of crowdland. For the insights for Treaty 3 strategy, Anishinaabe peoples are disproportionately represented in homelessness across both districts, where waiting lists are rising sharply, urgent housing supply needs, data collection gaps, many respondents did not identify community, and COVID restrictions limited counts. Finally, suggest need for culturally informed methods of enumeration. Anishinaabe led data collection to reflect true scope and ongoing monitoring, not just one-time counts.
Thank you, Maria. Appreciate all that information. Now I'm going to turn it over to see if any of the chiefs want to add anything. Chief Smith? Good. Chief, come again? Nothing? All right. Crickets. Comments from the gallery?
We have Chief Mandamin.
afternoon. You heard Gary talk about a letter that was sent from my First Nation to Grand Council, Wichita. For us back home, we're undertaking a review based on what transpired back in my community. There was 2 letters that were provided to us by Grand Council, and they were written by the chief in 97 and 98. And it's unclear if our people were consulted when this decision was made. So we would like to review it a bit more to make an informed decision. And don't mean to drag out the process, but I want to thank the staff and from Grand Council in facilitating a process of due diligence. They've been very patient with us, and unfortunately, you're going to have to. I'm asking for more patience because I'm not sure how long it'll take in terms of getting a derivative answer to what's being asked. We do know that there are interests that go beyond our territory, our First Nations lands. Relocating the residential school from School Point to Round Lake has had negative repercussions. They're far-reaching, just like any other community. So, when our school was closed, it forced the parents of those children to find a new way of trying to maintain that connection with with our loved ones like that. So again, give us patience, and give us time as we go down this road. Miigwech.
Miigwech, Chief. Any other questions? Chief Wabonge.
Bonjour. Miigwech for your presentation. We need to gwech minim. Get the batchmoik or ga wapen to make. Kenora, Fort Francis, Ashwina, Dryden, Nunavut. I don't see it on there. My question is, I see your data review of Kenora and Fort Francis, but I don't see Dryden in there. There's 5 other First Nations in the territory. Mita shea pane again is a good demand. Nation Schnabe Ketagajtat, Wapin Gujagazat Gavina. What does Mina I was looking at your data, I just wondered. Mina Tisha on the at Peshitoik, chicken in the make mine, or you go chinisito walk out. So where is the development of the warehouses? Have you started that process? Yeah. Oh.
So in terms of the data on Kenora District, Dryden is included within KDSB's catchment area, right? So they would include the numbers, I believe, from Dryden.
Yep. Oh,
that's correct. Right?
Okay.
So, and in terms of sorry about we did miss the distribution center.
They put it up there.
the distribution center is currently, the frame has been built. The building, if you can see up there, it's at the Sioux Narrows, by the Sioux Narrows waste disposal site, right around that area, or is it Berry Creek? Around there. And its frame has been built?
SN Landfill Road.
SN Landfill Road. Okay.
You want me to keep going? Yeah, so this is where it's at right now. It's looking really good. The roof just went on a couple weeks ago. It's set to be complete, the build's set to be complete still in December, so we're still on track for that. Everything's on budget, and we're hoping to open sometime next year. So it's looking really good. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions?
The floor is open. Any questions or comments from anyone in the room? Okay, I am seeing none, so just want to say miigwech to the Economic Chiefs Committee. Let's give them a round of applause.
We didn't have to stay up there 2 hours.
That's pretty good.
So the time is 4:01 right now, and I know that I said we were going to have a break after this because we have 2 more committee updates after this, but I also know that you guys wanted to be out of here by 4:30, so I'm not sure which way is more tangible. Should we do a 5-minute break, or do you want to go right into our, is it environmental chiefs or cultural chiefs? Sorry. Cultural chiefs. We'll do a 5-minute break. We'll get some time to stretch our legs, get some fresh air, and then we'll come back and we will go to the update from our cultural chiefs. 5 minutes.
Bonjour, everybody. I just wanted to let everybody know that we did our draws for the Little Otter Economic Development Corporation. We did 3 draws. So the winner for the Little Otter Resources is Deborah Hutchins. So Deborah, if you're still around, head on upstairs and collect your prize. For RGB Trucking, it's Elaine Ross. Are you still around, Elaine? Sconzo? It's in the bathroom? Elaine, we whip done. And last but not least, our McTaggart stores. Winner is, how do you pronounce that? Blaze Red Sky. If you're in the house, you got a prize upstairs. Is that right? So Deborah Hutchins, Elaine Ross, and Blaze Red Sky. Head on up, collect your prize. Miigwech. And for those of you that are planning on leaving early, you can grab some of the flies, bring them home with you. They're free.
How bonjour mina dina magnitok. Migo mina. Ugamak kanag ma tit the batch mog anin KAG. Nakita mo the way. Primatisian. So I'll call upon the cultural chiefs for an update. And following that, if we have time, the environmental chiefs update. Understand there's our activities happening at Agency 1 on Point Park. Orange Shirt Day activities, so we'll go on your advisement if we want to continue or break for the day after this presentation. Cultural chiefs, please come on up.
Bonjour. Ogi ma kwansin and division cause was Josh Dodem, Matanjagaming Donji. My name's Janice Henderson. I'm from the Muskrat clan and I'm the chair for the cultural committee. So I wanted to introduce the other chiefs, or actually they can introduce themselves, and then we're going to call up the staff and they can do the presentations.
Aho zorganias mizie wagi jik dijnakas skabo kaning chimag ning tabonji Chief White Crow.
Bonjour, was I going to be indigenous cause? Bonjour, at two time. And Dunji. So good afternoon. I'm Chief Lynn Indian from Big Rossi First Nation. Miigwech.
Hanin, wapske mekin go, can you need a delta, was just going to go and Dunji. Gigano name in a name, Jaganashi, Moenam Chiguji Moen. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chris Geet. I'm the chief of Wajishkon Legum. I just want to thank Terry, Chief Allen, for providing a little bit of history this morning on your beautiful community here. This is my first time visitor here over here, and I want to thank you for your hospitality. The cooks, of course, for providing that great meal. I look forward to the next couple of days.
Bonjour, Wasanabe, Indigenous Cause, Neashing and Doji. Chief Andrea Camp from Buffalo Point First Nation.
Bonjour, Larry Morrison, TAR Specialist.
Bonjour, my name is Alicia McLeod, and I'm the Director of Justice.
Bonjour, my name is Michael King. I'm the CRPT co-chair.
Bonjour, Diana Cowley. I'm the Education Director.
And the only team that's missing is the IRS, but I believe they're at the Point Park for the Truth and Reconciliation event. So I guess I believe Diana asked to go first, so if you want to have a seat, and you got the floor.
Okay.
Larry goes second.
Okay.
Bonjour. Ina be Mikinak Indigo, Mikinak Nindo Dam, Neo Kamigwani Nindonji, Nijo Mide, Miigwech, doing the presentation and update for the Education Department. Miigwech to Grand Chief, Deputy Grand Chief, Chiefs and Assembly, Elders and Knowledge Keepers. The ceremonial items, songs, our CEO, Lucas King, Interim Director, Derek Henderson, the Grand Council Treaty 3 admin. I also want to give thanks to the cultural chiefs, getting to know them. It's been an honor working alongside the cultural chiefs as well, so I acknowledge their guidance. Miigwech. So I'm here to update on the education initiatives happening at Grand Council Treaty 3 since last Spring Assembly. And the updates are about strengthening our voice in education and working towards Bimatu's win for our children, students, and future generations. This update, number one, is the bilateral engagements with Ontario. So what's happening right now, we have a 3-year agreement with Ontario, $516,000 partnership with EDU Ontario to build stronger relationships between our communities and provincial school boards. So why this matters is because many of our students attend provincial schools, but we haven't had enough say in how they're supported. So the current progress is that we've hired a bilateral engagement coordinator in July. He's here, his name is Jonathan Kipling. And we have connected with 4 provincial school boards in our territory. We're meeting with all, we've met actually, not with all, but a majority of the education directors on September 24th on their priorities. And by year 3, this is a 3-year agreement, we're going to meet directly with Ontario Minister of Education with our recommendations for better supporting First Nations students. So Bill C-33 is another update, new school board oversight. So what's happening right now is that Ontario introduced new legislation requiring school boards to be more transparent about their finances and their programs. So that's an opportunity for us because it gives us better tools to advocate for our students in provincial schools. And we'll have more information about how school boards spend money and what programs they offer. So we're making sure that Treaty 3 has a voice in how this legislation gets implemented so it benefits our students through regular meetings. And also working with our education directors from each community. I'm going to give an update on the Treaty 3 educational law development. So we're working towards the control of education in our territory, but this is a careful process we're following. Right now, we're wanting to send letters to the 28 chiefs asking for permission to visit the communities and to provide an update on the education department. Once there is a community approval, our education team will visit each community. So the visits will be myself. I'll be doing the engagement for the education law. Then we have Cass Buns, who's going to be doing the engagement on the educational policy section. And then we have Jonathan Kipling, our bilateral engagement coordinator, who's going to be working with the communities on the provincial school boards and jurisdictional issue. So that's kind of the plan. That's what's going to be stated in the letter. It's going to go to the chiefs of the communities, and we just want to make sure that they're informed about what is going on with the education department. So that's really important to us. We want to get to know everybody as well in a respectful way. So we're wanting to find out the biggest educational challenges. There is similarities. The current challenge may be a little bit different, so we just want to get current information, what works well in the community, the vision for education, and how do they want to be involved in educational decisions, and getting an understanding of specific community needs and how Grand Council Treaty 3 education can support this. So we're being very careful. We do not want to impose anything on communities. We need to understand the current needs of what each community actually needs so we can advocate effectively with federal and provincial governments. The advocacy I've been hearing a lot very strongly, that advocacy piece, it's very important. I've been hearing it very strongly in the 3 months that I've been in this term. So we're taking that very seriously. We will also re-engage with the JFK law firm who previously worked on the education law. So that's an update there. So we're gonna send out the letters first, then we're gonna do the community visits over two to 4 months once we have approvals. Next on the agenda is the Education Partnership Program, so the EPP. This is a partnership that the Education Department has. We have the partnership with 7 Generations and AKRC and BMOC, and combined they serve 19 of the communities of the Grand Council. So this challenge right now, what we're facing is we have to strengthen the communication with the partners. And what we're doing is we're setting up regular monthly meetings between partners. We're bringing back the EPP Community Forum so we can get direct input. We're working with the federal and provincial governments to improve funding and making sure remote communities get equal access to all programs. Better coordination means our students get stronger, more consistent educational support no matter which program they're in. Other just brief updates. The EPP forums will be resuming with our partners and working with the communities. We are working with Innovation 7 to support the data collection process and explore new opportunities for funding. One of these new opportunities include the potential of the new fiscal relationship grant. It's a 10-year block funding. We're exploring this. Attending the First Nation Lifelong Learning Table. This is a planning circle. We get together through meetings. Also attending the Ontario Bilateral Education and Learning Table. So these are all different tables that we have our voice on. We also attend the Chiefs of Ontario Technical Committee on Language and Learning as well. And we also have regular meetings with ISC and EDU Ontario. So we're scheduling to have a tripartite meeting with ISC in Ontario in January. This is pending the feedback that we get through the engagements. So those are going to be very key for when we go to see ISC in Ontario in January. It's scheduled for that part, and that'll be also with our partners, 7 Generations, AKRC, and BMOC. We are also meeting monthly with our partners, and we're exploring the new funding models, as I mentioned. And also, here's something very cool, working with the Language Teacher Certification Working Group. So we're on that working group, and it's to fast-track language certification, because there is a very huge demand for language speakers. And so we're on this table, and we're working with Chiefs of Ontario on this as well. We also awarded 3 recipients for bursaries and laptops for the fall term, and we submitted a report to ISC. And the report that we sent to ISC is about how they're evaluating the K-12 curriculum. So we gave feedback. We asked them to enhance treaty relationships and Indigenous laws, Anishinaabe language and cultural knowledge, Anishinaabe contributions to Canadian society, climate change, Anishinaabe knowledge, meaningful cultural integration. Many of these questions still operate from the colonial framework that we found. So in that, we wanted to say that our priorities matter is on par with federal priorities. Non-Indigenous standards seem to be the benchmark on those on that survey, and they seem to be more prone to efficiency rather than cultural appropriateness. So it's also seen like our communities are recipients rather than leaders as well. So some of the things that we recommended is to replace alignment language with supporting, replace comparable to with as identified by communities, replace efficient with adequate and culturally appropriate, replace adequate with meaningful and reciprocal. We also talked about investment language and how the investment language is powerful. We want to shift expense to assets. So education is an asset for our future generations and our students. In our education as something that builds value rather than costing money, and recognizing the long-term benefits. Investment implies return. Stronger communities preserve languages, cultural knowledge. It acknowledges historical underfunding, frames adequate funding as overdue investment rather than generous spending. So those are just some of the recommendations. We also just wanted to reiterate that the supporting of treaty obligations, treaties are investments in relationships, not just expenses. Miigwech.
Thanks, Diana. Bonjour. Bigamo Indigo, Ojosh, Nadotem, and I'm from here. It's nice to be back home. I haven't seen some of the elders over there now. But yeah, it's really good to be home. I'm going to be doing the TAR update. Just a brief overview of the TAR program. TAR, Treaty and Aboriginal Rights Research, is responsible for undertaking some of the historical and legal research for specific claims process. Currently, we have 14 of the First Nations that are on our work plan. We submitted a budget and a work plan proposal January 30th of this year. And we finally got word back in August, I do believe, that confirming our budget for this fiscal year. So that's about 3 or 4 months into the new year already. But we work with 73 of the claims at different stages of research, whether it be the TLE, the timber, pre-1915 surrenders, and the big one this year is going to be the annuities case. We got quite a few of the First Nations that are on our work plan dealing with those. Just a couple of items that I wanted to talk about. Number one was the funding crisis that we had for the TAR programs right across the country. This year, I know didn't affect us as much, but some of the other research units to the west of us too, like Winnipeg, I know TAR Manitoba had their funding cut drastically, like about 2/3 of their budget, and then it just rippled right across. I know some of the First Nations out west too, were significantly cut as well. So we worked with the Havilah Consulting Group and as well as some of the research units from UBCIC that we deal with. And they put together just a brief